So the paint room was specifically built to house this paint pod. And the paint pod, really, in its simplest terms, is just a great big it's a great big tent. I'll get it right. And this tent is built to the same spec as they use in the nuclear waste industry. And there's a very good reason for that, and that's because of the paints. So my paints are enamel paint. I don't know if you know that or not. And the problem with them is whilst they are absolutely amazing and brilliant, and you get to do all of that with it, they will kill you. Unfortunately, the enamel paints have two really nasty chemicals in them. These chemicals are present on contact with air because they're an air-drying paint. So one of which is a carcinogen, not good, and the other one is heavier than air. So theoretically, if you ingest enough of it, you can suffocate. So as you can appreciate, they'll have to work in some very, very strictly controlled conditions. So all this and everything you're about to see now, ladies and gentlemen, is purely so I can literally open a tin of paint. Now what you can see here are the wall tethers, and the wall tethers are there for one specific reason, and that's because I have to run an extraction system. What I'm actually doing is sucking more air out than I'm taking in. So the tent is always trying to suck itself into a tiny ball. So in order to prevent that, it has to be tethered to the building, and it's tethered, I think, in about eight places. Anyway, we won't put the extractor on, because if I put the extractor on, you're never going to hear my voice. But bear in mind, as we go into the pod now, and we are going to go in, I'd normally be operating with about a 90 decibel extractor on in my ears. So not only have I got the noise, not only do I have to wear a full face breathing mask, which I'll show you when I go in, but I'm also in an environment that has no natural light, just fluorescent light, and it's cold because of the airflow. So I've got all these things to contend with literally before I ever open a tin of paint. Right, you ready? Let's go in. Let's do this. So we have, on the outside, there's what I call a clean room. So the clean room, I say clean in inverted commas, what the clean bit means is this is the last point at which, as I come out covered with the toxic vapours, that I can get rid of clothing and leave the clothing contained in here, so it doesn't then go out into the main part of the gallery. So it's the last bit of containment, if you like. Now I'm going to show you my paint mask. There's lots of pictures of this dotted around the website, but I'll show you, especially when Adrian is in the pod with me mixing whatever, cutting canvas. We have to communicate with a 90 decibel extractor on, both of us wearing masks, and I'm going to put the mask on now so you can see just how garbled everything sounds. It'll make my head go cold now, so here we go. I've no idea what you're going to be able to hear, but this is how I paint. I've still got the microphone on. So that's it. So when I go in for a paint session for 2 or 3 hours, I've got to have the mask on, I've got all my paint clothes on, I've got rubber gloves on, I've got all the noise. And yes, this is it, ladies and gentlemen, this is it with the mask. This is what I do for a living. Also worthy of note, I'll show you my paint shoes. Actually, I'll probably take that off now. I mean, check those. There we go. Check those bad boys out. For the past 4 years, they have been in every single painting session. And some would say they're the greatest work of art of them all. Maybe they'll make it to auction one day. But yeah, so I'm quite pleased with my paint shoes. Okay, let's go straight in, ladies and gentlemen, to the actual main part of the pod. And here we go. This is where everything gets painted. I'm going to pop the lights on. Now in here, actually, when you've got the lights on and everything going, you don't know whether it's day, whether it's night. You literally could be anywhere on the planet because there is no external output from anything. So in many ways, that's a really good thing because I can just isolate myself and switch off. So behind me, we've got the paints that I use. These are my beloved enamel paints, the things that really form the backbone of everything that goes on here. And these are mixed by a local company for me, but it's a recipe that's uniquely my own, so nobody else knows it. This is the mixing station, which has got about 8 years worth of paint on it, which is great. I hope I never have to part with that. It's become like a family heirloom, that has. Yeah, so essentially then, when we've got everything sealed up and the extractor on, the sides start to suck themselves in as the air pressure regulates. So I am led to believe that when the extractor is running at full capacity, that there is about a 3% reduction in the amount of oxygen in here because of the negative pressure, which is, I think, the equivalent of being at the top of Ben Nevis or something like that. So there is a slight oxygen reduction as well. But also bear in mind, ladies and gents, when I'm working on all the intricate stuff and I've got needles and syringes, and I promise you I am not joking. I promise you I use non-hypodermic needles for some of the really accurate and tricky stuff. That's just one of the tools I use. But so here we go. So picture this. Next time you're doing something nice and creative and it's all pleasant, or you've got the radio on or something like that, I'm sat here with all the noise of the extractor in a cold environment with my face mask on my hands and knees, and bearing in mind I'm quite old now, so my arthritis kicking in, and I'm on my hands and knees. It could be in the middle of the night with a needle and syringe down on the canvas. I mean, I don't know if this is utter madness or insanity, and to be honest with you, you could look at this and think, why do you even bother? But it's different, and somehow it all works, and you get to produce the stuff that's out there that you've already seen. So I think, from a why do you bother point of view, well, why wouldn't you? I mean, this is just, it's a very cool space. It's taken a lot to get to this point, but this is what the pod is. This is the bit you can isolate from the entire world and create. And I think that's exactly what I need to do. So that's that. We've explained about the paints. The canvas is a specially made item as well. Because of the unique properties of the paint, I have to get the canvas specially made for me as well. In fact, the only part of this process that is off the shelf is the stretcher bars, the timber frames that they go on. But everything else pretty much is unique. It's bespoke. So, ladies and gents, that's the pod. And that's the floor in the pod as well. I wonder if I should just put that around a frame, because that's pretty insane as well. But yeah, there we go. Don't forget, if you like this video, to give me a subscribe down below. That would be awesome. And a thumbs up be even better.